All right, all right, all right. We are in for an incredible treat today. We are going to have one of our partners that I think probably has the most experience of, at least equal to the most experience of any of our partners that we work with that are building their own brands, that are building their own business, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But first, before we get started, let me bring all four of us onto the screen, and I'll do the introduction of Amy here in a second, but let's get around. Jenny Rickle from Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Jenny, you literally couldn't be, you just literally got off a boat on Lake Powell. You just got off the boat and now you're live with us. How is life? And tell us, it's nice to, disconnect for a couple days in beautiful Lake Powell.
It's fantastic. I mean, I definitely recommend if you can take any type of trip or vacation where you just are able to get away and unplug and relax, whether that's like on a lake or in a cabin in the mountains somewhere or whatever it is, definitely recommend it. And I'm really happy to be back. I love my PayProTec team. So stoked to be here on this Thursday.
Well, and Jenny was on a boat and at times on a boat, towing a boat with a boat in a boot. I don't know about that, but at the same
Dr.
time,
Seuss, you are not.
hey, thank you. But Mike Stetzel, I know also that you occasionally go on those Barbie lakes, a little boating.
I
Any
do.
boating? Yeah, like what's the? I haven't heard about you boating this summer. Have you? Did you
That's
boat
really
much this summer?
coincidental.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than we had. And then Sunday, actually, I was out for a few hours. I don't mind going by myself. My wife had something else going, so I was out for 2 or 3 hours and just enjoyed myself. Got all around all seven lakes, just looked around, and it's probably the last one of the season for me. We'll see. But yeah, and then 2 weeks from yesterday, speaking of turning off, I think my wife and I are heading for a few days in Red River Gorge, Kentucky, kind of up in the mountains. I suspect the cell phone signal won't be great there, so just a little fall break retreat for us while our kids are doing other things. So counting the days now.
Well, and self-admittance, I'm taking a couple days off next week and only doing 3 meetings while I'm doing those live days where I take 3 days off next week. So, Jenny, great example, totally disconnecting. I'm not the greatest example. In fact, I'll be
Me
doing a
neither.
live on Tuesday from my rental house in Bloomington, Indiana next week. So, hey, that's how we roll. But on the bottom left, upper left-hand side of your screen, from Seattle, Washington, or even better, I just lost it, Federal Way,
Federal Way.
Washington.
Federal Way, yeah.
Yes, I've had the blessing to be twice. Well, in this particular office she's in once, and visited out to Seattle twice. Amy Lund from Northwest Payment Brokers. Amy, thank you for joining us. We're so glad you're here. We've all loved working and partnering with you for the years, but can you tell us a little bit your journey, how you got into this payments? I mean, you have a lot of
Yeah.
years. As I was teasing Danny yesterday, we're now counting his experience in decades, and I believe that's true for you too. But
Yeah.
you have aged much
Oh,
way more
thanks.
graciously.
Well, I am only
Yeah.
29,
Yes.
so
So I mean,
I started
you
when I was
started.
like 7. Yeah.
Yes, it's really amazing. But
Yeah,
can you
no,
tell
I've
us a
been
little
in
about it? Yeah.
payments. Yeah, I started in 2003. So, I, honestly, when I was just looking for a career opportunity, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and 22-year-old kind of just going to school and
Hmm.
find myself. And back then, it was when Craigslist was still around. So I had found this opportunity and I went and interviewed for it. And it was or at the time it was in a Renton office, one of several that the company that I worked for had. I started just sitting in an office, going in and sitting across from Brady at the time, who ended up hiring me and kind of mentoring and teaching me the ropes. But yeah, he was 23 and it was impressive. He was running this office of, I don't know, at the time, probably 8 or 10 reps. And I just liked the idea. Then obviously was intrigued by technology, helping small businesses. And then the residual aspect was just kind of like the golden handcuff on top of all of it. And what really brought me in was just the idea of every day hard work, you would go in and continue to get paid off of over and over again for doing a good job and taking care of our customers. So I liked those ideas. So I started back in the day, 2003, actually. I think it was in March even, as just an account rep. And back then, we didn't have any tools. It was literally the phone book, picking up the phone, making phone calls. And I wasn't a door knocker at the time. So literally I would sit in the back of the office, make phone calls and just bust out 100 calls a day, probably 5 days a week to set my appointments, and got to really understand my metrics and what I needed to do to go close deals. And that's what I did. And so started as a rep, and then I continued to go in, and I always like to help people. So I kept moving into like upper management opportunity. So I moved into like a district manager role, and then eventually a regional director. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got my start, which was a lot of fun. I got a lot of experience in a lot of different ways. And so the two things I really enjoy have been helping reps develop and teams, and then obviously doing a good job with our clients and finding new opportunities to help our business owners.
So I'm going to guess, I didn't really get into the industry till like 2013. So a decade later. So tell us a little bit of what payments was like in 2003. Digital transformation's gone in. Knuckle busters are almost fully gone. A few of them left. But what was it like in 2003?
Well, no, I mean, we still had cards that had imprints, so we could do the knuckle busters even.
Yeah.
We had Talento devices. We had, of course, the Zons still were around a little bit. We had Hypercoms and I can't remember all of them anymore, T7 Plus and 3500. And honestly, those were the good days where it was simple. It was plug and play devices that literally all you had to worry about was that the phone line connected. And it was still working, probably half the time was phone lines, and then the other half was using Ethernet. And it was really a beautiful time and simplistic time for training and in and out.
Yep. Totally. All right, Mike, I'll give you the next question, then Jenny.
Sure.
Mike, what's your question?
I think that I wish we had thought about it beforehand, but I wish we had that chalkboard behind you fully in view. I suspect we could make an entire show out of the statements that are on that chalkboard. So we could go two ways. We can discuss some of those things that are on there that are most important to you. That's my first thought. Is there something that you focus on daily that comes off of that board?
I see.
Sorry.
No, I love things that I think remind us to be our best selves, and help us get energized, and quotes and positivity and things that just help remind us of how important we are. And each person can make a big difference in their everyday routines and lives, and try to leave things at the door. So there isn't really any one thing that we per se focus on. It's just kind of going through and hopefully coming in every day to be our best and leave whatever challenge we have at the door, and then get focused on the things that we do have in our control.
Having dealt with your employees over the years, I can understand how the great things they say about you and working with you. It makes sense that some of those things would be on that board back there. It's good to see that you put those things in place and have made such an impression on your employees.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, they're important. They're our family, right? At the end of the day, they're just as important as the job they're getting out and doing. And so it's always two sides. It's always wanting to make sure we're representing ourselves and doing the absolute best we can for each client, but then also making sure our team is supported so that they're able to do their best. So, I think I get lucky because I have the privilege of working with really great people, and then, helping be a part of their lives and hopefully impact them in a way where they can change their career.
All right, Jenny, you got a question?
Yeah. So one thing I'm curious about is when you started building your team versus like when now it's very expanded and you have a great team behind you. What were you looking for when you first started? You started your own business and you're like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start doing this and have people with me. What were you looking for, and how did you select the people that were on your team and working with you?
Yeah, I think truthfully, I think I got lucky, because I think as much as I would say that I selected them, they selected me too. I have always gone in and been great at working with people, and obviously loving to take care of them. And so naturally, I think we have come to build the team that we have based on just a great mutual fit where I've got their back, they've got my back. We look to do the same things. Our ethics and morals align. We're focused on our merchants at the end of the day, doing the very best job that we can do. And I think with those kind of principles in place, it just naturally attracts similar types of people. So I think that's where we're at today. Is we're always looking for good additions, but we really have a great team of people that are similar and like-minded. I mean, we have our differences for sure, but I think at the end of the day, our customers are the focus, and then the family that we build here. Just everyone's really great at taking care of one another and making sure we're supported.
So, Amy, take us back a little bit to when you started out in the industry and you were first an account rep and then grow into management within a larger entity, but still working for a corporate company. And at some point,
Yeah,
you made the decision to build your own company to eventually become Northwest Payment Brokers, to build something that you had ownership in. Talk
yeah,
about that decision-making process, when you knew you were ready, and maybe even some of the pluses and minuses, how you evaluated to make that jump to build your own and have
yeah.
Northwest Payment Brokers, which is, Amy's, instead of being part of something where you're just part of someone else's brand.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I think ultimately, like I had gone in and spent a lot of years working in a corporate environment. There was a lot of things I really enjoyed and learned a lot from. I got a lot of experience that helps me get to where I'm at today. I think the biggest driver behind me wanting to move on from that is just when corporations do step in, a lot of times they take away flexibility and your ability to develop people and do things the way that may be the best fit for talent, and it detracts some of those things by limiting your ability to do things. And so it really became a time where I was kind of boxed into the way I had to do things versus the way I knew they needed to get done to develop the team and be flexible. And so it just became a difficult time where I didn't want to have to fight against my ability to do my job the right way, and take care of my people at the end of the day. And so I just said, hey, this isn't a right fit for me. I'll give you guys, a month to go in and find someone that is going to do it the way you want. But ultimately, I need more flexibility to work and develop people and make sure that we're able to take care of them the way they need to be. Especially, I think the most talented of people don't always do things the way that corporate wants, right? It's like you've got to go in and take people and develop them for the strengths they have. And not every person does things the same way. There are things that work really well for certain types of people, but then a lot of times our most talented sales reps don't work the way as everyone else because they have actual different abilities. And so, when I got so limited, it just became not a good fit because it wasn't really taking care of the people anymore. It was just hitting certain types of qualifying metrics for a corporate that didn't really produce the results that they were even after. So it was starting to get conflicting for me. So I decided, you know what, like I understand, what it takes to be successful. I understand what needs to happen. And I also understand there needs to be some flexibility with certain types of individuals that I'm going to attract in order for us to get where we need to go.
So,
Hmm.
as you made that jump, Amy, what was there? Basically, we usually say there's two structures, and there's different variables in each. But there's the 1099 structure and the W-2 structure in our industry, and then you can, W-2 can have different variables of how different type of compensations and spiffs and all kinds of things in 1099 too. But as you are looking to build your team and jump out of the corporate, but also kind of building your own corporate and build it under your own ethos and the way you want to build a business, how have you navigated how you hire people, whether 1099 and W-2, and how's you gone into that decision-making process?
Yeah, yeah, I get it. It's a challenging one because it's definitely more expensive to go W-2 and all those things. I think here in Washington, one of the biggest things that made me want to go in and go the W-2 route. We do have a couple of 1099s that are more of referral partnerships, but really our day to day is having everyone, come into the office or have a game plan and trainings and different things and tools that we provide that don't really they don't really give people the success they need when they are a 1099. So here, we have this environment that embraces our team. They come in. We usually go in and try to meet, touch base throughout the day. And we do, in-office trainings and different things. But it's really about being able to go in and have our team's best interest in mind, and running with the W-2 model just gave that ability to be more flexible with, compensation opportunities and benefits, and being able to go in and do, IRA and, like I said, medical, all those things that make people or give people the tools that they need to be their most successful. And a lot of that comes from the support side and, just being heavily involved from the beginning and ongoing.
Perfect. All right, Mike and Jenny, before I ask my last couple questions, who's next? Who's got one?
Again, having known your team, to sort of segue from the way we started my question to Nate's point now about W-2, I think there's a lot to be said for the longevity of the people that have worked for you, and obviously some that still do. And do you attribute that to the W-2 structure?
No, not necessarily. I think there's a lot of positions in life we've had, right, where we have been an employee somewhere where we may not enjoy it or stay long term. So I think that it definitely helps in our industry for the right individuals that really want to make a career. Because, as you're getting going, it's not an easy business to just step into when you don't know things and try to figure it out. It's pretty frustrating commission only. I started commission only, and it was hard. I had to work a night job, bartending when I first started. And so, the goal for us here is that I do have some flexibility in the way that we do things to where we make it a little easier for new reps coming in, getting their feet on the ground and supporting them and running appointments together and hitting doors and doing all the things that are necessary to help learn the business. So eventually we phase out of it and they can do it on their own. But in the interim, we're also helping them, with a little bit of a cushion to make sure they're able to pay for gas and, get to work and get out and, eat and help keep the lights on while they're getting things going. Because, although the industry is very different than it was when I first started, it's still, you're not making money if you're not closing deals. And that's a really hard place to be in.
That's true. Okay, oh, good. Interesting. I guess I assumed a lot of it would be chalked up to, hey, I have benefits here. This is a place where, but that's interesting. That it's really whatever fits each person best. So.
Yeah, no, the benefits and those things are I think definitely helpful, right? Because it's just like, okay, this is a career position. And all those things. I want to take care of our staff. I want to make sure whatever we do, they're taken care of and they have all the resources and things they need to take care of their families and themselves as best as possible. So those are things that are important to me, but it doesn't necessarily always keep them either, though. I'm just saying it's just kind of like a mix of everything.
All right, Jenny, you got a question, or I've got a couple more here.
Go ahead, Nate, if you get excited.
All right. No, I'm not. But I will jump in and take it. But I'm intrigued. Amy, can you walk us through? You have some very, I'll throw out Alicia, some extremely successful, and I just saw on Instagram yesterday, celebrating 9 years with you.
Yeah.
Teammates that have been very successful. Well, then this is sales, and you have people that, they don't pan out and they're not able to get into it. And you have support people. How have you, what would you say to wished you had known when you started this process to what you now about hiring the right people, onboarding them right, learning as fast whether they're going to be successful in that type of role? I know you've pivoted people from sales to support people, how you've kind of helped both make this discussion, will they be successful within my company? And two, when they aren't, how do you, help move them on to that next place because they're not going to be successful with you?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not an easy thing, right? Like when you start to go in and have relationships with people that you like and care about. I think for me, I always try to go in and develop people to their strengths. And so sometimes we don't get it right. Sometimes, you're right. Some people aren't meant to do sales, or outside sales, especially, is not for everybody. But then there are other strengths. And so we find opportunities that may be better aligned, and we have moved some from sales to support or install or whatever that was a better fit, and definitely a need that we have as we get busier. um, as far as parting ways, I think that usually is sometimes where it's like, hey, this, you've got strengths, and you've got talents. Unfortunately, maybe merchant services just isn't your thing. And so and sometimes that happens, and I've had some really great people that we've worked and hired over the years where it wasn't their passion. So we ended up having to go in and part ways, and no fault of theirs, and no ill will on our part. We love and adore them. It's just, sometimes it's just not the right fit. I think hiring nowadays is a little tricky anyway, because I think, there are definitely differences in the way people work, and figuring out whether they're a good fit or not. Sometimes it is just trial and error. And I think as long as I've been working in this industry, there's a lot of people, especially on the sales side. You're usually going through, when you hire like a W-2 model, you're usually going through, quite a few people over that time frame to get to one really good rep that's going to go in and produce. And it's not because the people don't have the ability or the talent. It's really just not easy for everybody, is really what it comes down to. So although when I say you recruit, you might go through several to get to that one really solid outside sales rep. The ones that we had gone through over the years or whatever weren't bad people or not talented. It's just outside sales and merchant services is just not for everybody. If it is, you have to have a hustle, you have to have a grind, you have to have a grit about you to get out there and want to make things happen and make a difference. But it literally is something, when you get started, you got to do every day. You got to pick up the phone. You can't be afraid. And the worst thing I would say is, when I was learning this business, I often train this to reps, and I'd be like, if the worst thing you have to do is hear no and make 100 phone calls or whatever to get to six figures, I'm like, is that really that bad of a deal? It's really not, right? It's just you've got to equip yourself with the ability to do things that no one else wants to do. And when you do, then, a lot of doors open up. But you got to get out there every single day. You got to hit the pavement. You got to make phone calls. You got to go in and understand how many appointments you need to set every day. And not everyone's willing to do that. So sometimes that's where we find those differences in people that we hire. And then eventually, they're going to go one of two directions. We're going to help lift them and get them to be the best. Or, we end up, having them move on. As for Alicia, she's just an anomaly. She's just a powerhouse. So she's an exception to the rule, and I don't think everyone gets the opportunity to have like an Alicia. But she is definitely a rock star. I'd like to think I have another gentleman coming up that has that ability, to maybe. Do some of the same things. Just he's newer with us, but she is just a rock star through and through. She's just somebody that we love, we adore, and she is awesome. So
Awesome. All right, Jenny, how about you? Do you have a question?
I was really gonna echo something that you had said, Nate, which is, through the years, is there anything that you would have done differently as you've gone and grown? And gosh, you've seen a lot. Like, I've been in this industry a long time too, so I can totally relate. Like, the terminals used to be a lot more simple to what we have now. And I just am curious, is there anything that you would have done differently throughout the years?
yeah, I mean, there's probably a million, because I feel like I've probably hit a million things and done them wrong, and then learned from my mistakes. I would say, early on, I tend to be, and this is, not definitely something that everyone does, but I tend to be more behind the scenes. And so a lot of times over the years, I think back, like, why wasn't I more front and center? Or why didn't I get out and do these things more? I like to go in and support my team, but I always like to go in and put them in front of myself always. And I would not change that, but I would say the one thing that I would do different is I would definitely go in and make sure I was in more of the rooms. Got out myself and did more of the networking regularly, and just different things like that. A lot of times I would push these guys to do those things, and then I'd go, help run appointments or take care of all the things behind the scenes. So I would say, hey, along the way, make sure you're just getting yourself in front of as many opportunities as you can.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. As we close up, we've looked back at your career and not really gotten enough time to look where you are right now, but you're growing. You have teams. You just mentioned you have a new salesperson you really believe is going to become the next Alicia. I think we should just make that a phrase around here. Who's the next Alicia? I'm sure she would appreciate that. And if you ever get a chance to meet Alicia, she's one of one and awesome. And I'm just going to say, a CEO of a professional CEO, right? Is that her title now? The Majestics. Yeah. Yep. And so of a professional women's football team. I mean, that's the coolest thing out there. But as you're looking forward, what are some of the things that excite you that maybe, and then things that may cause you caution as you're where you are today and where you want to be in the next coming years?
Yeah, well, we've got some excitement happening. We're moving offices in December, so we have a lot of things to where we're just going to go in and get some fresh stuff happening with our team. I think things I'm looking forward to is just continuing to add, new additions to our team and keep building that out. As far as things that, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Are there any things that cause you like you're like, not fear, but you're like, hey, we've got to figure out how to tackle this. Things that the obstacles that you're going to overcome as you look to meet the goals that you have as you build your team and grow Northwest Payment Brokers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any really. I mean, there's just so much happening in our industry right now. So I think just trying to stay on top of all the latest changes. There's a lot that's happening with all the card brands and changing things as it relates to disputes. So I think just trying to go in and make sure we're doing our best to stay on top of all the changes, and then obviously equipping our merchants now more than ever. There's a lot of businesses out there that are doing things in a very shady manner, and so that's I think pretty discouraging at times. So for us, we just want to get out and make sure we're staying really well connected with our customers, and focused on retaining them as well as bringing in as many new things as we can each month. I think those are the main things right now. Technology is forever ever changing, so there's just so much coming. Trying to stay ahead of it all.
Well, and in 28 minutes, there's no way to encapsulate everything that you're doing in Northwest Payment Brokers. But one, on behalf of PayProTec, thank you for being part of the PayProTec family. We don't take it for granted that it's a choice to be part of us, and helping people in payments around the U.S. just understand that most people. I don't know if this is true, but I saw this as a stat. And I won't even give them because I don't know for sure, but it seemed to make sense. They said basically of the people in sales in the payments world, 60% of them have 5 or less years of experience. So the majority of us have just started in the industry, because the industry is people have realized how much is their opportunity. And a lot of that probably ties into differential pricing, dual pricing, cash discounting, all that, where there's actual more funding. But you bring us 20 years of expertise, and we're thankful to have you as part of our family, and look forward to helping all of us grow and helping Northwest Payment Brokers grow in the years and months and years to come. I'm going to let Jenny close us out today as we close out, because she literally disconnected for a week and now she's back, and we threw her on YouTube and said, you're live. So tell us, a sage, as you've learned as you were floating in Lake Powell without the internet and without a cell phone, what are things that brought to you that can encourage our partner? Yeah, go ahead, Amy. Yep.
I just want to say thanks so much for having us on. We really appreciate you guys. You guys are all amazing. And honestly, we wouldn't be able to be half of what we do without all of you guys, Jenny and Mike and you, Nate, and Danny, and just Jen Sales. All of you guys are honestly amazing. So I'm sorry to cut off your question, but I just really want you guys to know how much we appreciate you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, Jenny, close us out for this office hours on this October 2nd.
I love something that you said, Amy. It was, is it really that bad to get 100 no's if you get that one yes, right? And so I really want to like roll with that is you just got to keep rolling and grinding in this industry and you will be successful, right? Find the right team, find your flow. And that's really, as I'm like, was sitting on a lake, I was like, man, it's good. It's really good out here and like life is good. And so you just got to keep on going, right? And equip yourself with what you need to be successful. So everything's good. All good. Hope everybody has a great rest of your week. And thanks for watching.
All right. On behalf of Mike Stetzel, Jenny Rickle, I'm Nate Manahan, and our wonderful guest, Amy Lund. Thanks for watching Office Hours this week. And we look forward to, it's October. It's the fourth quarter. We're going to have lots of fun happening in the next couple weeks and months as we close out 2025 and look to 2026. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.